here you go, Jacob, here's a woman, have her, impregnate her.
Yeah.
Bella's probably like, wait, what? That's not part of the job description.
Welcome to the Bible in 1 Year podcast, brought to you by two Brits and a Bible. We're on day 10. Today we're covering Genesis 30 and 31.
In Genesis 30, lots of sons are born to Jacob from various women, and Jacob is becoming much more prosperous. And in Genesis 31, Jacob secretly leaves Laban, and eventually Jacob and Laban, after having a bit of a chase, make a peace covenant.
Beauty. Let's get going here. Lots of sons born to Jacob. That's pretty much what we learn here. Now, I was going to touch on this yesterday, actually, that my wife and I have some friends, and the wife's called Leah, and they currently have 3 sons, and 2 of them, the 2 younger ones, are called Levi and Judah. And the irony is I don't think, I could be wrong, they didn't realize that they were actually calling their sons after the Bible sons, which is fantastic. And so I don't know if ever there's a 4th one down the road, then if it's not called Issachar, I'm going to be absolutely livid.
Yeah, you need to definitely, that is unbelievable. You need to definitely speak to them and try and just play it cool and just be like, so if you had another son, any ideas what the name is? And if they say Issachar, I'm telling you, they either are pulling your leg or there is something crazy going on. That is unreal. That is unreal. So speaking of all the babies, let's dive in with Genesis 33. She said, here is Bilhah, my servant, sleep with her so she can bear children for me. By she, I mean, this is Rachel, isn't it? And this is because Rachel is not able to bear sons to begin with. And it's just that classic thing, isn't it, of us trying to solve our own problems and not taking it to God. God eventually works through all of this sort of sinful envy between the sisters and so on anyway. But you also feel sorry for Bilhah, don't you, really? Just like, here you go, Jacob, here's a woman, have her, impregnate her.
Yeah.
Bilhah's probably like, wait, what? That's not part of the job description.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole situation's just twisted. Like, Leah has to buy the right to sleep with her own husband to buy her son's mandrakes, which, you know what mandrakes are, by the way? Any idea?
Mandrakes aren't they some sort of a plant or tree or something? I thought, yeah, this is a Google job for sure. I think so. I should know that.
Mandrake is the root of a plant historically derived from the plants of the genus Mandragora, found in the Mediterranean region. Looks like a little apple thing.
Okay, interesting. That's really weird.
But the root, all right.
Yeah, very strange. There's probably some cultural link, but that's above our pay grade, isn't it, mate? So yeah, massively above our pay grade. We didn't even know what mandrake was. So then, actually, before I jump the gun, is there anything you'd like to say about any of the sons or anything like that were born?
Just the weird naming, really. They're all named with meaning and stuff, which is great. Melody and I named both our kids and have a big weight on the meanings, but their meanings are weird. Like, maybe now my husband will love me. Really? He's going to live up with that as his identity. And I guess what we kind of overlook at this stage, and it becomes clear, is that these are going to be the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Which is huge. This is them, and they're from such a twisted family.
Yeah.
But again, God uses just the down and outs, the rotten, as the.
Well, I don't want to do too many spoilers throughout this, especially because we have a tight time frame. But my pastor today was talking about Genesis 49, and it's where it talks about all of the brothers, and particularly Judah. And Judah's obviously a bit of a wrong un, really, and yet it's possibly the biggest wrong un that ends up being the one that is then the line through which Jesus comes, and so on. So yeah, like you say, just working through all the wrong uns, all the fallen, all the wicked, doesn't stop God at all. I think that Jacob's prosperity is quite interesting, and just the way that he comes to it is also, he deceived his brother and now he's deceiving Laban, right? In
Yeah.
some way. Now, this is a God-blessed deception, which I think is quite interesting,
Mhm.
because it's kind of like a retribution sort of thing, because Laban has obviously messed with Jacob, made him work for 7 years for the wrong daughter. I can't believe I didn't bring up there was 7 years, the whole number 7 again.
Yeah.
I forgot. And then 7 more for Rachel. But anyway, the reason we know that this must have been on some level blessed by God is because it's just too weird otherwise, isn't it? He puts the sheep in the shadows or whatever, and then they have little baby sheep that have the spots on them, and this is odd.
Yeah, no kidding.
Any ideas on this one? I just thought,
so it seems as though it was done in a way that this is what's going to make the sheep and the cattle and stuff do this, when actually, again, it's like the whole God, I'll name this place Bethel because God's here. It's like,
right.
If I do this, God will make the sheep and cattle have this. It's like, nah, God's blessing is regardless of what we do.
Right.
God's blessing is because God loves us and God blesses us.
Right. Do you think it could be like the Nicky Gumbel thing, like the plink, plank, plonk? Like, God can turn our ugly, like plinky, planky, plonky on a piano into beautiful music. So, like, it's not that Jacob does a certain action, it's the obedience to do the action and the obedience to have the faith that God will do him right or something.
Yeah, quite possibly. I like that. He's trying, but in all saying, is he trying to continue to be deceptive? Is he continue to trying to deceive by doing things in a way that means he'll prosper?
That's above our pay grade, mate. I'm sorry.
A lot of this is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But we don't. That seems to be left out, doesn't it? I don't think that we know if Jacob is like enjoying deceiving Laban, or whether this is just the way that it's poetically kind of finished on some level. And then obviously he runs off, doesn't he? It's interesting that Rachel steals her father's household gods. This might also then, I've only just thought of this on the spot, I'm spitballing here a bit, but that could explain why Rachel has been barren all this time, because God is still working through certain things to do with her. And then it's once she's perhaps learned a lesson that he now blesses her with the child, and that child is then one of the next most instrumental children, right? Joseph.
True. I mean, that's dangerous territory to be getting into, like she's barren because of. I don't think there's any.
Yeah, that's fair
at all.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, that's a fair point.
The logic you've got there. I thought it was interesting how Laban tried to twist things by changing the wages of Jacob so many times, I guess because he's seeing that all his sheep are suddenly spotted. So he's like, actually, I've decided for a while all the plain sheep are going to be yours, and suddenly all the sheep are suddenly plain. Like God's just looking out for Jacob, man. And I guess that's part of the blessing that he received, even though it was a deception that led to the blessing.
I might be wrong about this, but I thought my understanding was that he changed it 10 times over the course of that 14 years as well. Yeah. So I think you're right that he's trying to tip the scale here too. But I think it's interesting that this deception from Laban has been happening all the way through that 14 years. Sure. And despite that, God has still made Jacob prosperous through it all. Yeah. Right. So yeah, man, it's crazy. And then this is the one that I just put, wow. I don't know if I'll have more comments on it. Rachel said to her father, this is Genesis 31:35. Rachel said to her father, "Don't be angry, my lord, that I cannot stand up in your presence. I'm having my period." So he searched but could not find the household gods. So this is after Laban has caught up with Jacob and Rachel and so on, right? But I just love the deceit here, the fact that she's able to just, it's interesting that Jacob's married a bit of a wrong and a bit of a deceiver, being a deceiver himself, and just using her period as an excuse to like sit on the floor. Oh, I'm having cramps or whatever. Like, just search around me. I promise there's nothing on me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. We're on a lot of this is above our pay grade. I think we're very unqualified to talk about periods.
Yeah, absolutely. We are.
Sweet. Anything else to say in there, dude? I think we're pretty much on spot with that one.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe next time you can just mention what you had on Genesis 11 about the tower. That's the only thing. Sure. That can be for next time.
All right. Well, any questions? Visit the Facebook page, 2 Brits and a Bible.
or email us at twobritsbible@gmail.com. All right, see you later.